did in the 80s.
And we're back! I'm Larry, that's Jim, it's Larry, and we have no continuity in these episodes whatsoever.
No, these are, of course, the episodes between the episodes where we just take on an individual topic and so on and so forth. And unfortunately, this week we have...
Well, hang on. Before we get to the sad news, let's do the happy news first.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
Right.
yes. As we told you, that Allies Garage is still happening. It's just there's been some technical difficulty, like with the television when it doesn't work properly.
Yes,
And
yes.
we are in the process of soon producing a podcast that envelops the stuff that we talk here at the table, but you're still going to get some cool table stuff. Is that about right?
Absolutely. So the podcasts are coming. We promise. We swear. We will be back to our Facebook crowd that loves us very, very, very soon. It's coming. We promise.
Yes, and the reason why I'm wearing a hat is it is awfully cold back here in the alleyway today.
It is. The alley is cold in the winter.
Yes,
It is.
But we do have some unfortunate, sad news. Mr. Carl Weathers, he was in films like Rocky. He was in films like Predator.
Mm-hmm.
He was in films like Happy Gilmore.
Yeah.
He has recently been seen in Mandalorian.
Yeah, absolutely. Part of the Star Wars universe. And based on everything that I can read, Carl died peacefully in his sleep, and no one really expected it. And it is just a shocker and an enormous loss to the entertainment world. And Carl meant a lot to a lot of people for a lot of years. And a good portion of that time was during the 1980s. It's just, when I heard the news, I was just flummoxed. I didn't expect to lose him, and it was shocking.
Yeah, when I discovered the news and had to break the story, because everybody loves breaking stories like that, which is absolutely horrible.
Yeah.
I was dumbfounded.
Yeah.
I mean, here we have who could statistically be considered, or at least I consider, one of the greatest sidekick action movie stars of all time.
Oh, without a doubt. Without a doubt. I don't think it's possible to overstate the impact he had as Apollo Creed.
Yes. Or that part that he played in Predator.
Yeah, absolutely. He was, and here we are.
Or in Mandalorian.
Yeah, I mean, he was nominated for an Emmy.
There you go.
With Mandalorian, and here we are during Black History Month to lose
such an icon.
Yeah, absolutely.
I would consider him an icon
without a doubt, and we did not feel that it was appropriate to go without mentioning. This is just one of those deaths that we don't highlight very many of them on the show. But this is one that we absolutely felt that we had to. Well, it was important to mention Carl.
Carl meant a lot to me. I mean, as far as an actor, he's the only actor to work with Sylvester Stallone, Arnold Schwarzenegger, and the Yellow Jabroni in separate films.
That's true.
In separate
That's very, very
films.
true.
Now, what really bothers me is why he wasn't included in the Expendables. That cast of action actors. Why you didn't give Mr. Carl Weathers a call? Because he would have been right there. It would have been fabulous.
Yeah, especially even if you were saying, well, he was a sidekick, but people often, and they forget this film, Action Jackson.
Yes.
And, he was the lead there, so there's certainly precedent that he should have been in a film like that. And you're right, how he got ignored or whatever in that one, I really, really, really don't know.
And maybe I should recant my statement. Not sidekick, but not secondary, but partner.
Yeah.
Right-hand man, left-hand man. Because he was so good in that role. And it is so hard to find where you have the action star.
Yeah.
The guy. And then trying to find somebody to associate or attach to the guy to accentuate not only the guy, but the right hand or left hand man.
Well, I think one of the reasons we identify with this loss is because both of us, as professional wrestling managers, the time we spent doing that is the role of that person.
Right.
We're there to enhance the talent and build them up and make them more than what they are on their own. And that's essentially the role that Carl Weathers oftentimes found himself in. but I think especially with a film like Rocky, here was a situation where yes, he was doing that, but the Apollo Creed character, because of his performance,
Yes.
became its own thing. It really, really did. And I remember watching...
To the point where they spun it off where his illegitimate son became Creed.
And I remember watching Rocky 4, and there's, Drago killing him in the ring. That was a moment. Like, that was a real moment in the 80s where all of a sudden Apollo Creed was gone and Rocky had to avenge that and had to go all the way to Russia to do it. And it was during the Cold War and everything. I mean, my God, what a film! Really.
What makes the character Apollo Creed so interesting, as opposed to the roles that he played in Predator and the role he played in Happy Gilmore and all the other roles that he has played, is in the first two movies, Apollo Creed was the bad guy.
Yeah.
I mean, he underestimated Rocky in the first one. In the second one, he was going to go down with a fight, and he was going to take Rocky out.
Yeah, because he can't live with it that he couldn't just beat him straight out.
He couldn't just beat him. And then in the third movie, he built Rocky back up after Mickey died. And the fourth movie, he went out a hero.
Yeah. Yeah, it's an amazing character in film, and a very complex one because of that switch from antagonist to protagonist. It's a really complex character. And
then he was resurrected through the bloodline of his illegitimate son.
Yeah, yeah. And, in terms of the actor, to, at that stage of his career, to then come into The Mandalorian, which, based on what had happened with the previous 3 films, I'm not sure if anyone really had a lot of high hopes for The Mandalorian before it dropped. Mm-hmm. And then it went berserk.
Yeah.
And here he was nominated for an Emmy, and what a great thing to happen at that stage of your career. And his role in that show was fantastic. He did a wonderful job, and now that show is now the second of the Star Wars shows to be left in a lurch, because the character that died that was for Ahsoka, and now The Mandalorian has lost him. And so you've got 2 shows, both of which are scheduled for more content, and they've each lost one of their major performers. And the question becomes, what do they do now? Do we have a CGI Carl Weathers? Do we kill the character off? Do we cast somebody else in it? These are all the big questions, and it's hard to know what they're going to do at this point.
For Mandalorian, give him the hero's death, send him on his way, bring in a new mayor.
Yeah, I think that would be the smartest thing to do, personally.
And it would be the nicest thing to do, if you think, to show that kind of care to the character.
I think I would bring him back with the CGI, the face thing, just long enough to do that, so that you could give him a true hero's death and really send him out the right way, the way a guy like that deserves. And I think that would be the best way to do it. Personally, that's what I would do if I was the guy in charge. I'm not. But,
well, you also don't know if they already started filming, if they have any...
They have not. I do know that.
They have not started filming.
So they have the option at this point of what they're going to do, and I'm not clear on whether they're doing it. I know that a movie has been announced. I do not know if there's an additional season of the series coming as well. I'm not really sure what's going on there. Bottom line, last we saw... the Mandalorian and Grogu, they had taken up residence on the planet where Greef Karga is. So I mean, certainly that character is at least going to have to make an appearance somehow in whatever is going forward. So I guess we'll see what happens with that. But ultimately, what they're going to do with that pales in comparison to the fact that we've lost a great man and a great performer.
You know what? I just thought of it. I thought of this in Disney Plus, if you're listening, in the Star Wars franchise. You open it up with the funeral procession.
That could be interesting.
And you walk them down the aisle, and you have Mando leading the procession, and you do the true...
and then the whatever happens, and that fires us off into the story. Boy, that's a great idea.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
That's a really great idea.
It's almost as if I should have my own show. Like, share, and subscribe.
Absolutely, and hit that notification bell.
Please
so that you know when new stuff uploads. But having said that, we send our thoughts and our prayers to Carl Weathers' family and friends and colleagues and so on and so forth. We mourn right alongside you. He will be greatly missed by all his fans, including the two of us. So, Carl Weathers, thank you for the memories. We'll see you next time, allies.
Yeah.